What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Horror and Gore Horror Movie Podcast. This is your host, Dakota here. So, I know it's been a couple of weeks since you guys have seen an episode been released. There has been a lot happening, holidays, personal stuff. But but me, I'm going to get back to posting weekly episodes each week for y'all. So, I got 3 or 4 episodes that are in the works for each week. I think there will be some good, exciting episodes that you guys will love. I'm going to try to get some guests on for these episodes, but if I can't, these are going to be some absolutely great episodes that you guys will probably enjoy. But let's go right into it. I kind of want to talk about where this podcast is going to go a little bit. So, first of all, like I said, there's going to be weekly episodes each week starting from now on. I've got some great topics, like I said. But we're going to talk about some social media stuff right now. On January 19th, it's saying that TikTok should be banned. So, if it is, I will still be on Instagram. And then I'm on this new app, which I've got Colby and Ian on, which if you guys know Colby and Ian from the past episodes, I've got them on this app too. It's called Clapper. It's like TikTok, not high tech like TikTok, but one thing I agree with them is that this newsfeed in this Clapper app is absolutely bonkers. Like when I post, I don't even scroll through the newsfeed. I like post, get off the app, and just like that's it. Because the content in here is either like rinse the repeat of TikTok, like people are stealing stuff from TikTok and posting over to be original content like that, or it's just weird stuff. But I'm gonna be over there posting clips and stuff, which I'm actually going to start that very, very soon to post clips of the podcast from here. But with that being said, I think I'm gonna try to find some other social media things because there's been some stuff going around. But if TikTok don't get banned on January 19th, I'm gonna still be there. I'm gonna still be post content. So guys, if you haven't yet, go over to the TikTok and hopefully I'll make this Clapper page by the time this episode is being released. If not, it will be probably next week. But definitely go follow both of those social medias. And of course, follow the Instagram if you guys want to. But guys, with that being said, let's get right into this episode. So, of course, like our other episodes, I'm going to start of what I have watched. So it's been 5 weeks. So I'm not going to give you guys everything I've watched in these 5 weeks, but I'm going to give you some stuff. So let's get right into it. So the last episode, of course, was me and Colby doing the substance. So that's the last thing I seen during the episode, but it's been a lot of time. So I rewatched Thanksgiving right around the Thanksgiving holiday. I absolutely love Thanksgiving. Can't wait for Thanksgiving too, of course. Then I went through some Thanksgiving horror movies. I watched Blood Rage and Blood Freak. Then I rewatched Terrifier 3, of course, which I absolutely love Terrifier 3. Then a recommendation from Colby and Ian on their TikTok page was Pieces. I watch Pieces. I enjoy Pieces a lot. Then I was suggested to watch Little Nicky by Ian and Colby because I have never seen Little Nicky before. And I think that's one of the most underrated Adam Sandler movies of all time. But getting to 2 horror movies that I really want to talk about, non-horror movies that I really want to talk about, is Gladiator and Gladiator 2. Both really Scott masterpieces. If you guys haven't seen Gladiator with Russell Crowe, go watch that. But if you guys actually have a chance to go to the theater to see Gladiator 2 in theaters, definitely go see it because it's my second favorite movie of this year. But then I went on a little Christmas movie binge. Then I watched all 3 Black Christmases for the first time. I watched The Mean One, which after watching The Mean One, I enjoyed that movie so much. And after watching The Mean One, I looked into Steamboat. The director of Mean One is directing Steamboat. Of course, David Howard Thornton's coming back to play. I don't know, is it Steamboat Willie? I think they're gonna probably call it. Hopefully, they call it that because, of course, it's not in the dome. It's in the domain now. And Fuzz on the Lens is actually producing this thing. So, three of my favorite things, not only from the main one, but the Terrifier and the Stream franchise, is going to be in this new Screamboat movie, which is absolutely amazing. I want Santa Slay with Bill Goldberg. Absolutely love that movie. I rewatched Gremlins, which is a holiday classic that I watch every year. If you guys haven't seen Gremlins, definitely go watch it. Then I've been talking to Kobe and Ian, and they've been throwing some movies out to me. They threw me a list of 20 movies that I should be watching, which I think I watched one or two, but I think it's one so far, but I will get through the rest of those. The first one, this is one of Kobe's favorite movies of all time, is Detective Pikachu. And after watching this, I have never watched Pokemon. I was like, maybe when I was little, but not like mainstream right now. And I love Detective Pikachu. It's really good. They're supposed to be making a sequel, Warner Brothers is, which I'm hoping that they actually get that episode, not the episode, but get that movie out. Then I watched The Witch for the very first time, Robert Eggers' first directorial debut, with Anya Taylor-Joy's first acting role, which is absolutely, I love this movie. It's creepy, it's dark, it's terrifying. It's not like your normal horrifying movie with jump scares. Robert Eggers brings tension not only to the story, but the music, and he combines it all together with some creepy imagery to make this movie absolutely terrifying. It's a slow burn, but I think it's one of the best slow burn horror movies I have ever seen before. Which, if you guys want a full depth episode on that, on my other podcast, the Cinematic Boys podcast, me and my co-host Bilal actually broke down The Witch on there, which we are going to go through Robert Eggers' movies right now, leading up to Nosferatu, which is going to be released in 8 days from today, where I'm recording this episode. Then I watched VHS Beyond, and that being my first ever VHS movie, holy crap, I am hyped to watch the rest of these. First of all, this is found footage. Found footage is becoming like my second favorite subgenre in horror of all time. And with it being aliens is absolutely great. I love all 5 segments in this. But Fur Babies, directed by Christian Justin Long. And yes, this is the Justin Long from Tusk. Oh, let me think somewhat. I don't remember the rest of his horror. Oh, Barbarian. Those two actually direct a great short in this. And of course, this another segment is directed by Kate Siegel and written by the great Mike Flanagan, which that is absolutely terrifying. It felt emotional and absolutely everything. I absolutely love VHS Beyond. Hopefully, I can get a chance to go to Fantastic Fest next year to see VHS 8 on the big screen, which that would be absolutely amazing. Then the last movie I watched yesterday is Carry On. And if you guys don't know what Carry On is, this is a Netflix original movie starring Taron Egerton and Jason Bateman. It's not a horror movie, it's like a thriller action Christmas movie. And this reminds me of Die Hard. Not all the way Die Hard, there's some elements of Die Hard in this. But this is set there on Christmas Eve in LAX airport. And Jason Bateman absolutely gives a great performance as a bad guy in this. Like, I've mostly watched a lot of his comedy roles, but if this is his first ever serious role, I need his agent to get on the phone right now and get him some more serious roles and some more villainous roles, because he absolutely great performance in that movie. But that's just mostly what I have watched out through these last 5 weeks from here and there. But let's get into our main topic, which I already guys mentioned to you a little bit of what it is through what I watched. And we're going to be talking about all 3 Black Christmas movies. So I'm going to go from Black Christmas 2019 all the way to 1974. So I'm gonna be talking about probably the worst to the best. That's what I'm gonna do. So let's start off to Black Christmas 2019. Of course, this came out in December. I think it's Friday the 13th of 2019 in December. And this movie is, but it's horrible. This is not Black Christmas. I like Blumhouse. I love Blumhouse. I'm a Blumhouse defender. But this movie is absolutely butt cheeks. And I can't stand what this movie is. The original Black Christmas and the Lord is off of Billy and Agnes. And do you get Billy and Agnes in this? Spoiler alert if you guys haven't seen Black Christmas 2019. This probably has spoilers for all three of these, of course. No, you don't get none of that in this. You get some other stuff, which some of the stuff wasn't half bad. Like the first half wasn't half bad. But once you get to that second half and you find out who the killers are, I can't stand that. I didn't like that there was no Billy or Agnes in this. This is not Black Christmas. If they changed the name to something else, it would actually been probably pretty good. But once you attach the name Black Christmas to it, and don't get me started about these killers in this. The killers look like Doctor Doom. When I say Doctor Doom, I don't mean like Fantastic Four 2005, Rise of the Silver Surfer Doctor Doom. I'm talking about Fantastic 2015, the worst Fantastic movie of all time, or Fantastic Four movie of all time, Doctor Doom. It looked like that. It looked like dog shit. This movie was dog shit. Absolutely can't stand this movie. I didn't even know Carrie Elways was in this movie. The little screen time it got was actually pretty good, but and that with our main actress in this, she plays in I think 28 Weeks Later in Fright Night, which I enjoy her in this movie. But besides that, the rest of this movie was just ugh. I just couldn't stand it. But let's get into Black Christmas 2006, which this is the remake to the original Black Christmas from 1974. And this one, I actually enjoyed this one. This one does have Billy in it, and I like the Billy lore. Some of the Billy lore. Like the stuff with Agnes and like the eating his mother. I did not like that. The creeping factor of it and like him crawling around the house and stuff, that shit was scary. Just to think that somebody could be crawling around your house is absolutely terrifying. The gore in this is ramped up from the original. And I think it's around that early 2000, mid 2000s time of like, what was it? Texas Chainsaw, Friday the 13th. Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, all those movies were getting remade, and all the gore was ramped up in them, and especially like Kills of Eyes and like Last House on the Left. All those are more gory than the originals, and you could see that in this, like eating eyeballs, like Billy and Agnes eating eyeballs. Like that was that. First of all, that's not the original Black Christmas. I don't know where they came from with that. But I enjoyed the cast in this. The cast wasn't that bad. The main actress in this plays one of the characters in the Nightmare on Elm Street remake, which I picked that out. And the mother of all the sisters in the sorority house was one of the original actresses from the original Black Christmas, which was pretty cool. But the Agnes stuff I can't stand. The original Black Christmas, they mention of Agnes. Billy does. But this one, we get full Agnes, and I just didn't like that. It goes by quick, but besides the Agnes stuff and like the weird Billy stuff, like not like for this one, not like the original one, I just don't like that much. But the rest of the stuff, I enjoy. But and it just ended abruptly. If you guys have seen Black Christmas 2006, you guys would know what I'm talking about with the ending. It just like ends abruptly, like right there. But let's talk about the original Black Christmas from 1974. This movie is absolutely terrifying. This has become my second favorite horror movie of all time, jumping in front of Nightmare on Elm Street. I love Nightmare on Elm Street. But this movie, I watched this in the dark, like late night, and it's absolutely terrifying. When you get the beginning of Billy going into the sorority house, and just out of nowhere, he just started to pick off these sorority sisters one by one. And the phone calls are absolutely bone chilling. There's some vulgar language in this, like really vulgar language. But each of these calls are bone chilling. And John Saxton in this, as I think it's the lieutenant, absolutely love, especially being a Nightmare on Elm Street fan. It's absolutely great to see him in this. But this movie is, like I said, it's terrifying. The music, before even Billy crawls into the house, the opening shot of the house with the Christmas music, like it's normal Christmas music, but with like the environment stuff that Bob Clark made, it's absolutely like jumps you right into the film of what this is. This is going to be probably a terrifying, creepy film. And there's some parts that like really got me in this. One, of course, is when I think it's Claire, when he first kills Claire, and we just see every shot of her, of the bag on her head in front of the window. I think it's the pan out shot at the very end. I've seen that before, and it always scares the crap out of me, and it even did right there. And the second thing is when at the very end is when Jess finds the last two sorority sisters besides her get killed by Billy. And she don't know where Billy is, and Billy's eye is right there in that door, like the little door hinge crack. And it's just like they just bring the camera in right on his eye like Bob Clark does. Absolutely terrifying. And he could switch his voice too, which a little bit about that, which I've been going through some horror movie theories and stuff, which this is so creepy to think. So Bob Clark wanted to make Black Christmas 2. And he told John Carpenter that he wanted to make Black Christmas 2, but except on Christmas he wanted to make on Halloween with Billy coming back. And what is ironic is that after Bob Clark told John Carpenter about that, John Carpenter went and made Halloween, which it'll be so cool. And it'll be weird though, but it'll be so cool if Billy actually became Michael Myers, which possibly it definitely can't be, but it would be so cool if that actually happened. And this was the start of Michael. And you guys are wondering, like, how was this Michael? It could be. Sorry, guys. What about a lot of people are home for Christmas, right? They keep probably like 1 or 2 guards at like the mental institution. And like we don't know what mental. They never say what mental institution it could be. It could be Smith's Grove. Michael like gets out, does these things to these sorority sisters, like picking them off one by one, right? And technically, we don't know his name. He just says Billy and Agnes, so we just pick up like this could be Billy. But what about if it could have been Michael and somehow he done all this, got back to Smith Grove somehow before Christmas without even noticing. And after like all these voices and stuff, probably after he done all these killings in the sorority's house, what about if his voices in his head of Agnes and like Billy and all of them just stop? And he goes back to Mr. Rose silent all those years, right? And what about instead of like where it's Lori What about, because of course he goes after every sorority girl thinking it's Agnes. What about if he thinks that Laurie Strode is Agnes the whole entire time, and that's why he's going after her? That's just a theory there, but it would be. It's so cool how Bob Clark wanted to do that, but then John Carpenter's like, "Oh yeah, let me take that idea away from you without even telling you and make my own movie with it." Which Halloween and Black Christmas, Halloween's my one and Black Christmas is my two, and it's so weird how that's how both of them, like Bob Clark made that originally, and that's how John Carpenter made Halloween, which is so ironic. But another theory is the older man down the street in Home Alone. I forgot his name. I just watched Home Alone, clips of Home Alone a couple of days ago. Um, you guys will know who I'm talking about when you guys watch the original Home Alone. Um, what about? There's a theory is that that guy, because in the original Black Christmas, remember Claire's dad is there, right? But they technically never find Billy because they think Peter has done it. I think they find out later on that Peter hasn't done it in this theory. And they blame the dad for killing all the sorority sisters. So Billy is still alive. He kills Jess in this theory because we never think we think it's Jess dead or not, which probably she is, because of course at the end of Black Christmas outside the house the phone gets ringing, and every time the phone gets ringing and Jess picks up, Billy is killing one of the sorority sisters. So this is probably him killing Jess, and he's calling the house. So they think Peter's innocent, so they blame the dad. So for this, the in Home Alone he has a son. So the son goes away because he is distraught that his dad killed all the sorority girls and Claire, his own sister, and the guy's own daughter. So he goes away. He lives on his own, and of course in Home Alone, by the end time you know this dude is nice and everything, which it kind of shows like the theory of like he didn't do it, like he was just framed. Like in this theory, if you do it through Black Christmas to Home Alone, and that by the end of Home Alone, he gets to see his son and his granddaughter at the time, which kind of goes from like a little dark and like a little traumatic to a happy ending. But that's so cool to think of like horror movie theories connected to other movies, which is absolutely outstanding. To think that people actually do take time to do this. Like right there, I was like theorizing, what about if Billy's actually Michael? And like my elements in it, like theorizing right there with you guys. But like I think that's about it for Black Christmas. It's just I just love these movies. I recommend that you guys at least see the original and the remake from 2016. If you guys want to see the 2019 Black Christmas, I don't consider a remake. It's just 2019 Black Christmas because they just slapped Black Christmas on it. You guys can go watch that one also. All these, I know the first two is available on Prime, probably at the still at the time of my recordings, and I think 2019 is still available on Max. If you guys want to go see that. But guys, with that being said, let's get into some movie news. We got a lot of movie news from these past 5 weeks. So first off, we got our first look of Megan 2.0. We got two pictures. We got Megan and we got Katie. And Megan looks the same. So Megan in this movie is supposed to be a good guy. And I think it's Amelia or Amanda, the villain doll. So it's kind of like the two villain dolls going after each other. Of course, Megan is programmed to protect Katie like she did in the first one. But of course, she like turned evil and everything. But this one, it looks like kind of like a Terminator 2. You know how a Terminator, the first one, I think it's the T-1000, was going after Sarah Connor, and Terminator 2, he's protecting John Connor. So this is like Terminator 2. Megan is protecting Katie in this one from the bad robot. And this releases in, is it June? Yeah, June 27th, I think. Which we are like 6 months away from this movie, which I'm excited for. I like the first Megan. I haven't seen the rated R unrated cut yet, which I'm gonna try watch that before I see this one. But I don't know if this one's going to go the rated R route, or if this one's going to actually go the PG-13 route. Which I wish if they do the PG-13 route, they kind of do like 2 like shots. Like no, reverse what I just said. Let's do this rated R, because I think a lot of people like this. But if they do the PG-13 route, like if they make it good, because of course the original one they had a rated R, they took everything rated R out, then they did that. But if they have a PG-13 script and they really want to make it terrifying and good, go ahead and do it. Then some other news, which it's a little bit confusing with this news, and it's about Scream 7. And I don't want to get in a whole Scream 7 predicament in here, but I'm just going to say that Melissa Barrera and Jane Tager are not back in it. Nev Campbell is going to be in this. I think Patrick Dempsey, Courtney Cox. We got 2 other castings, which I'm just going to throw them out here real quick. Of Celeste O'Connor and McKenna Grace, both from Ghostbusters Afterlife and Frozen Empire. They're both in this. I think it's Isabella May is in this, confirmed to be one of Sydney's daughters, which I'm thinking McKenna Grace might be the other daughter. So you got both the daughters right there. But Mason Gooden from Scream 5 and Scream 6, the Core 4, one of the members of the Core 4, is actually returning this. So what's going to happen? Is he going to be the opening kill to say a statement? Is he going to be coming back to because it's not Wilkesboro, because Sydney's in Seattle? Is he going to be joining the crew in Seattle? And like, I don't know if it's confirmed that his sister, I forgot who the actress plays his sister, is going to be in Scream 7 also. So another theory is in my head, what about if his sister gets killed by Ghostface, right? Like, does Kara and Sam get killed also? Do all 3 of them get killed, and he goes to Seattle to warn Sydney that Ghostface is going to be coming after her and her family with Gil? Like, both of them can go to Seattle, warn Sydney, like, Ghostface is coming for you. Like, he already killed my sister, he killed Sam, he's killed Tara. And what about theories? I don't know either side. What about if this is Stu? What about if it is Stu? Stu has been all along with this, because they can actually bring the Stu thing back now, which it's going to be interesting, because Matthew Lillard is actually getting back into the horror game right now, especially with Five Nights at Freddy's. But it's going to be interesting to see how Mason Gooden is going to be in this movie. This movie is going to be releasing February 27th, 2026? No. Yes, 2026. So we're still like a year and like 2 months away from this movie. So, yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with that. We're going to have to see, though. So, the one trailer that I want to talk about is 28 Years Later. I saw it last week. I saw it one time in my trailer reaction. I saw it in the theater right before I saw Kraven the Hunter, which I watched that also. I'm seeing 28 Days Later or Weeks Later because, of course, Days has not been out on digital or physical media in a long time. But this trailer is exciting me. It's got Cillian Murphy, Anya Taylor-Joy, Aaron Taylor-Johnson, Jodie Comer, Ralph Fiennes, which are credible actors. I enjoy all of them. And I've seen none of Danny Boyle's work, which I'm excited to go through that, because he's got 20 Days Later, he's got Sunshine, all that. But the writer, Alex Garland, besides Men, I like Alex Garland's work. Because he just did direct Civil War this year. And I actually enjoy Civil War. I enjoy Annihilation, Ex Machina, which 3 great projects. Like, he's like right now 3 for 4 for me. And I heard that him and Danny Boyle made a great movie with it, 28 Days Later. So I'm excited to see that. And that releases June 20th, 2025. So next year. Then granted to that, 28 Days Later was announced yesterday. That's going to be getting the digital release starting tomorrow, which is weird, starting tomorrow and not today where it's Tuesday. It could be released on Tuesday with every other movies. But it's releasing tomorrow in digital, which I am going to be scooping that up. You can buy it or you can rent it. I think Sony bought the rights to this because Searchlight Pictures owned it. Then they lost the rights because their time ended. Went back to the original owners. I think Sony bought the rights where they're doing 28 years later. So that's going to be released, which I'm going to probably buy that tomorrow and go and watch that in 28 weeks. Just get a feel of what this franchise is. Because we got 3, besides 28 years later, we got 2 other movies, which is called Bone Temple, which that one's directed by Nia DaCosta, which if you guys seen the Marvels from the MCU, and she done the requel, the most recent Candyman movie, which I enjoyed that one. I didn't enjoy the Marvels that much, but I enjoyed that Candyman movie. Then I haven't seen these movies, but I'm going to when this requel comes out, this legacy sequel. So Jennifer Love Hewitt is returning as, I think it's Judy James, and I Know What You Did Last Summer. So Freddie Prinze Jr. is already returned to this cast. This cast is stacked already. They're already filming right now too. So I can't wait to see this because this is the one horror franchise like the first 2. Everyone likes the first 2. So I don't know if this is connected. I don't know where that came from. If this is connected to the first one or if it's connected to the first 2. If it's connected to the first 2, my only thing is where's Brandy in this? Because I heard that her role in number 2 of I Still Know What You Did Last Summer is actually pretty good. But then the next thing, which really excites me, is that we're getting a Clayface movie. So a little description about this is Matt Reeves' Batman universe. They want to make Clayface the villain for Batman Part 2. And now it's Cushion, something I don't know where they're going. But they have announced that they will make a Clayface movie. They did. So this is going to be written by Mike Flanagan. Yes, Mike Flanagan, the horror guru, which I hope he directs it too. But I want to know, is this going to be in the DCU with James Gunn's Superman and them? Or is this going to be connected to the Matt Reeves Batman? Which, if it is, this comes out September 11th, 2026. 3 weeks after that, the Batman Part 2 comes out. So if it's connected to the Batman Part 2, it's 3 weeks right there. Which, if Clayface is the actual villain in this, the Batman Part 2 and not Hush, which is interesting. If they could be both, because I've been hearing that Batman Part 2 might be a horror type of movie, which it's going to be absolutely amazing if that is, because I love the Batman Part 1 and I love horror. So put both of those together, it's going to be a treat for me. Then Final Destination Bloodlines, which is the 6th installment in the Final Destination franchise, finally gets a release date. And this is going to be released on May 16th, 2026. And released in IMAX. Which, I like watching movies in IMAX. And watching a Final Destination movie in IMAX, it will be absolutely amazing. I'm going to try to see this in IMAX. Then, we get so there's 2 new Evil Dead movies that we all know is going to be released very soon. Then we just got a title to one of them and a release date. So the release date is going to be somewhere in 2026. But I think this is the one by Sebastian. I forgot his last name. I don't want to mess it up. It's called Evil Dead Burn. Holy crap, this movie. That title just rips right now. That title goes hard. Because of course you got Evil Dead Rise, which I like Evil Dead Rise, but my favorite is Evil Dead 2013, which is not a remake. It's in the same universe as the originals. I need to always put that out there to you guys. It's not a remake. It's an original movie set in the original universe. But this, I can't wait for this. I like Evil Dead. I like this franchise. And if this goes as hard as like Evil Dead Rise in 2013, because this is made by, I think, where is he from? Let me look this up real quick. Let me see if I can find this. Yeah, here we go. France. So I think it's France. I think he's from France. He's France, or let me see. Yeah, like France. And French horror is very extreme. So if you put French horror into Evil Dead, like the elements of that, and Evil Dead is already like gory and like brutal and stuff, and you would just add that element, this will be probably the most brutal Evil Dead movie of all time. And I'm ready for it because it's going to be released in theaters. Warner Brothers did a great job releasing Evil Dead Rise in theaters. If that movie was never released in theaters and dropped straight on Max like they originally intended, these two Evil Dead movies by Sebastian and Francisco Lupi would not be getting made right now. So props to Warner Brothers, props to Sam Raimi for dropping Evil Dead Rise in theaters. But the last news I want to talk about before the end of the episode is that of course, when the hurricane hit the area I lived in, I read a little bit. I went back to a little bit of a reading stage. So I read this book called Clown in a Cornfield by Adam Caesar. And this book is going to be made into a movie. So it's already got filmed and everything. But a couple weeks ago, we got some news that got picked up by let me see. I gotta get the right studio. I don't want to mess up the studio real quick. Clown in a Cornfield. I think I got that name right. If I can actually spell clown right. Yes. It's going to be directed. So Clown in the Cornfield is going to be directed by Eli Craig, which he has directed Tucker and Dale vs. Evil, which I love. Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. This movie is going to be. It got picked up by Shudder, and I forgot the other one. They do a lot of other things, but with this being a Shudder release, a lot of people are thinking it's going to be a limited theatrical release, right? No, it's getting worldwide release because where it's a Clown in the Cornfield, and the release date is May. Sorry about that. So the release date for Clown in the Cornfield is going to be May 9th, 2025. So 7 days before Final Destination Bloodlines, we are getting Clown in the Cornfield. And after reading this book, this movie is going to be brutal, especially for a teenage slasher. The detail that Adam Caesar puts in this book is absolutely amazing. It has bone crushing. The details that he puts into these kills is something I have never seen in the book, and absolutely gonna love it. Which there's 3. I think he said he's going to talk about making a 4th book, which really exciting. But I'm excited to see that. But sorry, guys, again. But guys, with that being said, I think that is 8. That is 8. That is it for today's episode of the Horror and Gore Horror Movie Podcast. So, guys, if you are new here, check out the rest of the episodes if you want to on the audio and the video versions. But guys, if you guys watching the video version on YouTube, hit that like button. If you guys want to, hit the subscribe button, and let me know down in the comments if you guys are excited for any of these movies. And guys, what's your thoughts on these Black Christmas movies? And if you guys are listening to the audio version on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, leave me a comment down below on Spotify of the same thing, guys. If you guys are excited about any of these movies, and if you guys are excited about if you guys are excited about any of these movies, and what's your guys' thoughts on these Black Christmas movies. And if you guys want to keep up the podcast, hit that follow button, give me a rating, and go follow the social medias down below. Of course, right now we're on TikTok, Instagram, of course, YouTube. I'm going to try to get the clapper up. to put out some content for you guys if you want to go follow that if you guys are on Clapper yet. But guys, with that being said, be ready for next week's episode because it's absolutely going to be a great episode, especially being our last Christmas themed episode of the year. So guys, with that being said, I hope you guys have a great week. I'll see you guys next week.